Here we are in the hot shed. We're going to close our eyes and we're going to go on a journey now. Who needs pills? You hear about people who need LSD and all sorts of stuff just to use their imagination. Let's go now. Let's just close our eyes and describe what we see on the back of our eyelids. Okay. Now if it's purple, you might have a purplish haze because of the colour of the back of your eyelids. If there's some light coming in, it might be an orange or apricot coloured tangerine dream if you like. But who needs drugs? Let's just close our eyes and describe. Say what you see and see what you say. Win Wenger's book The Einstein Factor is very helpful as regards learning imaging. But we're going on a journey now. Travelling along now. Looking to the right, I can see some trees. They're in blossom. They're in blossom. They're a bit apricot coloured at the moment, but the more I describe, the clearer they'll become. It'll become full colour. And it's all on a wide screen, full panoramic vision, full depth perception. Okay, looking at the blossom orchards going past. Are they almond blossoms? I think they might be. Looking at the almond blossoms, I'm travelling. I'm ranging over landscape. There's some golden grass growing beside the orchard. Well, it's not an orchard. What do you call a place that grows nuts? Orchards are for fruits, aren't they? Anyway, keep describing. There's some pink blossoms there, some peach blossoms. I can see the black branches as I'm going past and ranging around this orchard. Looking around as I travel, following the routes that just happens to be here. Looking all around I've got wide peripheral vision, full depth perception. This will happen to you if you just keep describing for 10 minutes a day what you see on the back of your eyelids, describing in great detail. Describing it aloud, of course. You can do it aloud. Or you could write silently with your eyes closed on a notepad and without seeing what you're writing, but best to describe it anyway. Supposedly that turns on the left half of your brain, the description, whether written or describing aloud. And the imaging part of your brain, supposedly the right half of your brain. I don't know how true that is, but we're learning to use our brain fully anyway. And imaging, the more you do it, the better it gets. Okay, I'm travelling along at quite some speed. Travelling around a corner here, looking at a building, a large building. Describing it, it appears to be a terracotta colour, made out of bricks. As I'm going past, I can see cars parked out the front. What is this place? Is it another world, or is it another planet? Is it the past? Is it the future? Is it the present? Is it another country? Is it just my imagination? Looking around anyway, keep describing as you go. Travelling along, I'm going downhill at the moment. Down a hill. Looking out to my right here, there's an illuminated field, and it's full of kennas. There's flowers called kennas I can see. Travelling along at quite some speed. So more almond blossoms there. I like to describe plants because that's my interest. If you were interested in automobiles, you might describe them in great detail, or whatever you like, houses, whatever you like. I describe the plants because that's of interest to me. Just saw a telephone pole power pole on my left. More blossoms over that way. I tend to range like an eagle. Rather than go in a straight line, well, I do go in a straight line, but I circle around as I go and have a good look at things. Okay, looking along to my right, more buildings there. I give you the clean version anyway. I don't tell you everything that I see. I give you the nice sanitized YouTube version. Going around the corner, there's a quince tree growing on that corner there. There's a kumquat tree. Travelling down the hill anyway. There's a bit of a forest over there. Let's have a look. Travelling along, looking at the forest. There's some buildings there. This is a nice shady upmarket area. There's some orange trees with the oranges falling on the ground. Ornamental orange trees. Are they kumquats? Or little mandarin skins or something dropped along on the road. Travelling along. I've got the fans on, by the way, so they add to my sense of travelling, don't they? Can you see the wind in my beard? Travelling along, I've got the wind in my hair, haven't I? Telegraph pole, power pole on my left. Travelling along, vanishing point down that way. What's down that way? There's a road, there's trees on the right, silhouettes of trees. I'm transported to the other world. You'll start to lose the sensation of your own body after a while. Supposedly that means you're giving off a theta brainwave. However, travelling along, the road's curved there. Nice vista, wide vista, grasses on both sides of the road. Power pole out that way. Travelling along through the haze. There's a purple haze around here. Let's go through the purple haze. I'm travelling quite fast. Sometimes I travel so fast I feel I'm going to take off. Travelling along, looking out that way into the purple mist. There's a big tree over there. Is it a chestnut tree? I think it might be a chestnut tree. Going past the chestnut tree now, looking at it. Anyway, there's a building over that way too. Yes, here we go. I can hear someone, an intruder in the real world behind me, but I'm not going to take any notice. I'm describing as I go now, describing as I go. They're making a noise, I'm not going to take any notice. Travelling along, there's trees on my right, there's trees ahead, the road curves, full sky, full purple sky, travelling along at quite some speed. I sound like a racing commentator, don't I? The road goes to a vanishing point ahead, there are telephone poles down that way, the road curves, there's a lollipop-shaped tree over that way. Looking around, anyway, it's a bit rosy over that way. Say what you see and see what you see. It's orange over that way, power pole over that way. I just like to just describe things on my journey for you. Travelling along, anyway, travelling along at quite some speed. Travelling along, enjoying the ride. It's fantastic. The wind in my hair too. Travelling along. It's a hot day today, so I can forget about it by going to the other world. Zooming along at quite some speed. With my eyes closed, describing what's on the back of my eyelids. Veering to the right now, there's a cutting through the hill there. Cutting through the hill, there's some yellow illumination on the other side of that hill. Let's go over the top of the hill now and look down over the hill. What do we see? We can see a bit of a valley on the other side of the hill. More hills, more trees, big telephone power pole, big tall trees in my peripheral vision. Big tall trees in my left field of peripheral vision. I'm travelling along. You must have full peripheral vision, and you must have full depth perception, and you must have full technicolor, yes. Travelling along at quite some speed, going around a corner now on the side of the hill. The more you describe, the clearer it gets anyway. Circling around, going onwards. More trees on my right, trees on my left. Well, I mean, if you were describing a car journey, you would describe what you could see, wouldn't you? You'd be saying trees on the right, trees on the left. I can see power poles on my right, the wires are going over the road, there are power poles on the left. We're travelling along now. Along this road, I'm travelling sideways, looking at it as I go along. Orchards over there, brambles, almond blossom. There's some low shrub there. Is it gorse or broom or something? One of those thorny shrubs that grow in the heather. Grass here, brown grass on my right, a fence sticking through. There's a bit of a drain down there with reeds growing in it. I can see some water in there reflecting the sky. There's reeds in there. The reeds are going brown. There's brown reeds and there's yellow reeds and green reeds. Bulrushes, that sort of typhaceae, I think they're called typhaceae. Circling along anyway, going along the groove of the stream at quite some speed. There's a bit of a waterfall over there. There's some white water over there. Circling around, going back past the waterfall again. There's a lot of mist, you can almost smell the mist. There's a green pool below the waterfall, it's jade green. Travelling to my right at quite some speed, travelling sideways now. There's a big rocky outcrop there and the waterfall. There's the waterfall there, isn't it lovely? Circling around in front of the waterfall, it's very rocky, lots of mist. Circling around in front of the waterfall, veering to the right, isn't it lovely? Veering to the right at quite some speed. Of course, I'm not connected to anything, so I just travel, don't I? I'm not attached to anything, I just travel and have a look at everything. Some people might call this astral travelling, mightn't they? Or some people might call it the other world, or the world of the imagination. I tend to call it the other world. Circling around, travelling at quite some speed, travelling forward. Okay, it's curving over that way, the road I mean. It goes round in that way, and there are trees on my left. Circling around to the right at quite some speed, very fast. I wouldn't drive this fast normally, would I? There are trees on my left, power poles, there's a building there. Let's go past the building. There's a pencil pine thing that's had the top of it lopped off. There are telephone poles on my left, veering to the right. Circling along the road. I don't have to travel on the road. Sometimes I travel on the road. Sometimes I follow just the contour between two hills. Sometimes I follow a drain. Or sometimes I follow a riverbed or whatever. Sometimes I travel upstream. Sometimes I travel downstream. Sometimes I travel over hill and dale. veering to the right, looking at things as I go. Purple hills, purple haze. Let's go over the hill, circling around anyway, travelling to the right. I tend to travel to the right, perhaps because I'm right-handed. I mean, I tend to go clockwise, but I can go anti-clockwise if I want to. There's some rosy mist over that way, and there's a hill, and there's a big tree growing on top of it. I don't talk to people in this other world. Of course I see people here in this other world sometimes, but I don't talk to them. I don't want to. Travelling to the right. I suppose I better not talk for too long, had I? See ya. How do I turn this thing off?